Emotional triggers and addiction. That's our topic today. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Got a question, put it in the box. Hi, I'm Dr. Doug Weiss from Heart to Heart Counseling Center in Colorado Springs. We do 5-day intensives and counseling with people all over the world. We want to help you. Today's topic is emotions and addictions. I remember over 20 years ago in the 101 Freedom Exercise, I wrote this whole thing called emotional zones. And what that exercise was the addict was to be able to identify the key emotional triggers that kind of send them over. There's another exercise where they do relapse research. After they relapse, they walk through what are the emotions. I want to give you some of those emotions that need to be mastered and then kind of give you a tool that you can use or purchase to be able to really be able to master emotions and help you in your recovery process and actually accelerate your emotional development. Because as addicts, it doesn't matter, alcohol, drugs, sex, food, porn, intimacy, anorexia, any form of addiction, you get robbed of emotional, moral, and spiritual development. So you're still developing almost like a 12 to 14-year-old adolescent would, having very strong feelings, but going to the addiction to medicate so you don't evolve. And so you have these triggers that can overwhelm you. Suppose your emotional capacity, say 3 out of 10. Well, if you have an emotion of 5, you're going to feel overwhelmed and you're going to want to medicate. And because you medicate, you don't ever grow to be able to expand your range to 5. And so every time you get to 5, especially on key emotions, you're going to go to the addiction because that is your go-to to kind of self-soothe, calm down, and get emotionally regulated. Well, if you can, and I know you can because I've taught thousands how to emotionally regulate yourself, you can win this battle of emotions and actually develop beyond your addiction. But what are some of these emotions? I mean, for the last 40 years, I've been doing counseling, and for the last 30, people have been flying in with pornography addiction, sexual addiction, infidelity, intimacy, anorexia, marital issues for intensives. And so really getting under the hood of how addicts think and how they feel and what triggers them in relapses has been what we've been doing. And so here's some of the top ones. And some of them may or may not apply to you, but being rejected is huge, whether rejected at work, being passed over, being rejected sexually by your spouse, being rejected by people you want to impress, or even self-rejection. You know, when you don't like yourself and the decisions you're making and you reject yourself, but rejection can tip you over. Boredom. Oh my gosh. That is so dangerous for some people, especially like the A-type people who are trying to go. And then you just put them in a place where they can't do anything and they get really bored and they want to go to their addiction for stimulation, oftentimes neurological stimulation. One of the things that's in our building in Colorado Springs is neuromodulation, which can help the brain get calmed back down and help you to use your neuroplasticity. Instead of fight or flight or freeze, you can actually use it to move through the process you're in emotionally or relationally. However, some of the other ones that can tip you out is anger. If you feel angry, you can just go right to the addiction. Okay, lonely is another one where I find a lot of addicts have challenges with that. You know, even just being tired can push you over, especially if you're a man and you've used masturbation as a way to put yourself to sleep. You know, being tired can put you into that place. All right. There are a lot of emotions and you have to figure out your particular soup. You know, what is it that triggers you to go to the addiction? Once you know that, then you can use the tool. It's called Emotional Fitness, and that's a book, 60 Days to Being Able to Be Emotionally Much More Developed. Okay, and I'm going to run you through kind of how you do it as far as the general idea. But it's really a discipline you have to put in your life for about 15, 20 minutes a day. And that would take me almost 30 minutes to explain how to do it. But I want to give you the idea. First of all, your feelings are not between your ears. Your feelings are not in your brain. So just having good thoughts isn't going to get you out of it, because a thought compared to a feeling can just tidal wave over that thing. And you've had that experience as an addict where you really want to be a good boy or girl, but you had this strong emotion and boom, you went over to the addiction to get medication. And so the reason is because your emotions are stored in your fascia system, and that's all over your body. That's what we talk about the gut. Like, you get that feeling and your body wants to do this. You get excited, your body wants to do this. Your body is carrying the emotions, not your brain. So in the emotional fitness, you actually go through and you learn how to feel the feeling in your body. And you actually hold it for 15 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 seconds. And then you hold it longer, 15, 30, 45, until you can hold that feeling, whatever that feeling is, for a whole minute in your body, feel it and expand it. And then you go to the opposing feeling. So let's suppose you're anxious, that's your trigger. You might use calm as the alternative. And you practice feeling calm for getting it all the way up to a minute. Then the last part is you switch them back and forth so you have mastery, where there's anxiety, and as soon as you hit it, you go, I don't want to feel that. I am feeling it. It's not denying that you're feeling it. It's like, okay, this is what I'm feeling in my fascia system, but now I learned how to use my switcher, and I'm going to switch it to calm. I don't have to be anxious. I can choose to be calm. And you find the freedom of driving your own emotional car. And then other people can't control you anymore. Circumstances can't control you anymore. You can decide the feeling you have. You can literally take one step and switch into another feeling the next step once you get mastery of your emotions. Listen, triggers is a real big deal. The emotional fitness book is, the description's down below. You can get that. I'd really strongly encourage you, if you have an addiction of any type, even nicotine or your social media stuff is out of control, this can help you find out what you're feeling and switch your feeling without needing to be medicated. And that's where you really get into emotional development. You can get freer from your addiction. There's other tools, like we mentioned, the 100 exercises for sex addicts, if that's your addiction. There's lots of tools for any addiction, but you need to be able to emotionally regulate to not relapse. Well, I hope this has been helpful for you and inspire you, because I've helped thousands of addicts who were 20, 50, 70, and even 80 become emotionally fit and stay clean the rest of their lives. That's up to you what you do. I'm giving you the opportunity to learn from someone who's taught thousands of people to do it. If you need help for any reason, call my office, 719-278-3708. If you want to come and do an intensive, we'd be happy to work with you. And if you need anything, just reach out, send us an email. Now, if you haven't subscribed, do that, because there's so much help. There's over 1,500 videos here to help you in your journey. Also, if you got a question, put it in the box. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, really take the next right step for yourself.